I'm at my breaking point with this situation, and I genuinely don't know where to go from here anymore. Almost a year ago, my life blew up in a way I never saw coming. I'm a 52-year-old woman. My husband, Ben, is 59. Earlier this year, I received a phone call from a woman named Amy. She's 37. We live in a relatively small community, and all three of us work in the same industry, so I knew who she was, but only in passing. That phone call changed everything. Amy told me she'd been having a years-long affair with my husband. Not a fling. Not a one-time mistake. Years. She said she wanted to come clean and asked to meet with me in person so she could explain her side of the story. I refused. I didn't see how sitting across from the woman who'd been sleeping with my husband would help anything. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. She showed up at my house. She made a scene. Neighbors saw. The humiliation was immediate and overwhelming. I won't go into every ugly detail of that day, but the fallout was brutal. Ben and I started therapy almost immediately. We're still together now, technically, but our future is completely uncertain. As if being cheated on wasn't enough, Amy then took the affair public. She started posting videos online. Lots of them. She has a decent following on multiple platforms, and because we share professional circles and mutual acquaintances, the story spread fast. Very fast. In those videos, she framed herself as a vulnerable, insecure woman who had been swept away by a charming older man. She claimed Ben used his position and influence in our industry to manipulate her. She called him a predator. At the same time, she insisted the relationship was fully consensual. According to her, he told her he loved her. Promised her things. Strung her along emotionally for years. Ben tells a very different story. He says they hooked up a handful of times over the past 3 years, usually at industry events when I wasn't around. He insists there was no emotional connection. No relationship. Just sex. He claims he had already been trying to distance himself from her by the time she contacted me. I don't know which version is closer to the truth. Ben showed me his phone. The messages I saw seemed to support his story, but of course I have no way of knowing what might have been deleted. Amy has repeatedly threatened to release proof that their relationship was real and emotional, but as far as I know, she never actually has. We're relatively prominent in our town. We own a successful business together. Staying in this marriage makes me look foolish, and I know that. I'll be the first to admit that in the beginning, I directed most of my anger at Amy instead of Ben. I minimized his role. I was trying to survive emotionally. Eventually, after months of public drama, people lost interest. The gossip cooled off. Ben and I started trying to figure out what moving forward might look like. I blocked Amy on every platform so I wouldn't obsessively check her accounts. And then, about 3 months ago, everything exploded again. Out of nowhere, I started getting messages from strangers online. Dozens of them. They were accusing me of running a troll account that was viciously attacking Amy. Calling her a slut. A liar. A homewrecker. Saying she wasn't welcome in our town. The account had gone through my social media and reposted pictures of me and Ben, saying Amy would never have what we had. There was one detail that made my stomach drop. That troll account followed exactly 2 profiles. Amy's. And mine. Amy's followers quickly decided that the wife had to be behind it. I locked down every social media account I had, personal and business, but not before strangers told me I was old, ugly, and that there was a reason my husband cheated on me. I was humiliated all over again. I couldn't bring myself to dig into it, so I asked a close friend to look into things for me. Ben is practically illiterate when it comes to social media, so it fell to her. She told me that Amy had continued posting regular video updates about the affair and its aftermath. According to Amy, she'd been dealing with escalating harassment ever since she went public. It started with anonymous texts, threatening that she'd be run out of town. She shared screenshots and openly said she suspected they were from me. Then someone hand-delivered a threatening letter directly to her mailbox. This wasn't just online anymore. All signs pointed to someone local. Someone with her phone number and home address. But then, after a couple of days, the troll account went quiet. Amy publicly told her followers that she didn't actually think it was me, and things seemed to calm down again. I tried to move on. A few weeks later, Ben and I received a message from Amy's employer. He'd been getting emails from an anonymous sender. Emails that strongly implied I was behind them. The address included Ben's and my initials. The sender name was my first name. The email suggested that influential people in the community were concerned about him employing Amy. They referred to her as a prostitute. They attached sexually explicit photos of her, pictures that turned out to be from an adult account she'd posted publicly. We immediately told her boss that we had nothing to do with this and that we had no interest in jeopardizing her job. At that point, we made the decision to reach out to Amy directly. She seemed relieved to hear from us. We told her we weren't involved and that we were willing to help if we could. Ben and I were already discussing hiring a lawyer and possibly a private investigator. Amy then asked us to write a public statement for her social media, saying we condemned the harassment and supported her as a member of the community. It felt strange, but harmless enough. Then she suggested we all meet for dinner to clear the air. I shut that down immediately. I don't like this woman. I never will. I'm sorry for what she's going through, but I have zero interest in sitting across from her over drinks, offering closure or forgiveness. The call spiraled fast and ended badly. After that, I drew a firm line. No statements. No direct communication. Ben agreed without hesitation. Since then, things have only gotten worse. After we cut off contact, my friend kept monitoring things for me. According to Amy's posts, the harassment didn't stop. It escalated. Her apartment was broken into. She filed a police report, but nothing came of it. There were no signs of forced entry. Nothing was stolen. Instead, her belongings had been deliberately moved around, as if someone wanted her to know they'd been inside. Not long after that, her adult social media account was hacked. Whoever accessed it made exactly one post. A short message that used a pet name Amy had for Ben, a name she claimed only the two of them knew. The post went up briefly, then disappeared once she regained control of the account. She changed all her passwords. Enabled extra security. It didn't matter. She claims someone is still accessing multiple accounts of hers. She believes private photos may have been taken. At first, I wondered if this could be a misguided friend or an overzealous supporter who took things way too far. I don't believe that anymore. This feels calculated. And whoever it is seems determined to make it look like me. The implication is that I'm some jealous, technologically clueless older wife who can't cover her tracks, but somehow also an expert hacker and burglar. Amy is clearly the main target, but this person doesn't seem to mind destroying my reputation as collateral damage. After our last phone call, Amy started posting videos again. This time openly questioning whether Ben and I were behind everything. She hasn't outright accused me, but she's come close. She said she thinks Ben knows who's responsible. He insists he doesn't, and I believe him. She's furious with us. She says we only care about protecting our own reputations. She demands to know why we won't go public and demand the harassment stop, since, in her words, if it's not us, then whoever is doing this is at least acting on our behalf. She says it's unfair that she's the only one still suffering consequences from the affair. I could not disagree more. My friends have been supportive, but I know rumors are circulating. My social media is still locked down because every time Amy posts, her followers come after me again. Messages. Comments. Accusations. Insults. I feel trapped in a nightmare that won't end. We're pursuing legal options. Lawyers. Possibly a private investigator. But emotionally, I'm exhausted. I'm furious at Ben for putting me in this position in the first place. I wanted to try to save my marriage. Now I find myself wanting to walk away entirely. At the same time, I don't want some unhinged stalker to get the satisfaction of making that decision for me. And honestly, I don't even know if divorcing Ben would remove me from this situation at all. Amy scares me, not because I think she's behind this, but because she keeps trying to insert herself into our lives. She says she still loves Ben. She insists we owe her public support. And yet every interaction seems to make things worse. I don't think she deserves what's happening to her. Not even close. And lately, I'm worried she might be in real danger. Besides the break-in, she's also talked about being followed by a van with darkened windows. We have more resources than she does. More money. More connections. But every time I open the door even a crack, she pushes her way back into my life. If my marriage, or my sanity, is going to survive, there can't be any further communication with her. But does keeping my distance make me look guilty? How do I move forward when someone is actively trying to keep us stuck in the worst moment of my life? How much support do I owe the woman my husband had an affair with? And how do we investigate any of this without her cooperation, when she's the one holding most of the evidence? I feel like I'm being punished over and over again for something I didn't do. And I don't see a clean way out.